Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Strege, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you. Over.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of What's in My Room here on Delusions of Grandeur. And I'm gonna show you a few films that I found within my collection that I didn't get under the R's first. It's just a few of them. And then I'm going to show you some of my newer pickups. And so on and so forth. So, I have a couple of box sets here, that I wanted to show you. And some trilogy sets. So, one of these, so this is from Cult Cinema Collection, and it's called Raiders of the Living Dead. It stars Scott Schwartz, Robert Duvall, Donna Asali, Bob Allen, and Zita Johann. And what is on here is 3 different versions of this film. So, the director of this film is called Sam Sherman, and it's from Independent International Pictures, and it's distributed by Image Entertainment. Now, the first one is an unfinished short 80-minute film called Dying Day. Then Sherman decided to reshoot the film as Dark Knight. And then his final project became Raiders of the Living Dead, which was a big success, leaving very little of Dying Day left in the final film. All 3 versions are on this disc, and the final version of Raiders of the Living Dead. Sherman's first work print and cut of Dark Knight and Brett Piper's original Dying Day. You can see the evolution of a movie and view many of the editorial and production devices employed to make the final version a marketing success. Dark Knight and Dying Day are not rated on this particular 2-disc set. So, there we have Raiders of the Living Dead. Zombie hunters on a frightening quest for undead beings. So, I'm just going to show you the back here. Has a couple of interesting things. But anyways, moving on. Next I have a trilogy set of the comedy action trilogy of Rush Hour. Originally, I had them 1, 2, and 3 separately, but then I ended up picking this up at Walmart. It's got Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3. And to me, these are classic Jackie Chan action films that I kind of grew up with. Brett Ratner is the director of all 3 of these. So, next I have the Road Trip trilogy. And this has Euro Trip, Road Trip, and Road Trip Beer Pong. Now, I've seen Road Trip, I've seen Euro Trip, but I've never seen Road Trip Beer Pong yet. So, down the road, I may review these. And this is called the Road Trip Trilogy Unrated Triple D Collection. I love that cover. But Todd Phillips, Jeff Schaffner, and Steve Rash are the directors of those 3 particular films. Next, I have this RoboCop triple feature. And this was put out by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayers. And I have RoboCop 2, and RoboCop 3 in this trilogy. Now, if you'll remember something, I have the RoboCop limited edition Arrow, and I have the Steelbook of RoboCop as well that I've showed before. So, bear that in mind. Those are different than this. This is what I had before, and until they come out with RoboCop 2 and 3 on something as dangerous as an Arrow edition, I will be keeping this trilogy. So next I have, which I put this already over here. Next, I picked up Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence. And this is an animated film, and I did not have it yet. So I ended up picking it up. So there we have that particular film. So eventually I'll be doing an Japanese anime video of all the things that I have in Japanese anime. And I'm waiting until I have a few more pieces to my collection so that I can go on and show you what some of these are, what some of those are about. Now, here's something I picked up from Walmart, and once I got it home, I was slightly disappointed because these aren't the original episodes of the Berenstain Bears. But this is the 90s version of the Berenstain Bears. This says it's the complete collection from PBS, and it includes all 80 stories. But I am finding that there are episodes that were from the 80s that are not on this. So I was slightly disappointed. Let me just grab this here. I'm going to turn this TV on, and I'm going to grab the disc from here because I was watching this earlier at one point in time. So this is disc 1. But I was excited when I picked this up. So there we have the complete Berenstain Bears series of shorts. Next, I ended up picking up the complete first season of Tripping the Rift. Now, I'm going to be looking for the second two seasons, but I'm not really going to be uh, counting my blessings because Tripping the Rift, especially the third season, is really hard to find for a really decent price. But I'm glad that I found the first season for a decent price. So it is an X-rated, uh, kind of sort of CGI'd animation because it's not exactly claymation or anything like that. But it's close. Before I show you this one, I ought to show you this next one. Okay, so bearing in mind in my R section, I showed you that I had a copy of a film called Repo the Genetic Opera, which not too long before this video, I went on and reviewed that particular film. Well, that particular film is directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, but so are these two. This one is The Devil's Carnival, and this is Alleluia, The Devil's Carnival. So these are two more musicals that were the screenplay was written with Terence Zdunich, and Terence Zdunich plays the devil. In this first film called The Devil's Carnival, they kind of play on three Aesop's fables, and it's told in the style of an anthology. And I would have to say that the end song of this particular film is the strongest of the whole entire film, but there's just something I like about both of these films, because this second film, and both of them have Paul Sorvino in them again, and he plays God. So the first one is about how the devil wants to take heaven out of business, and the second one, we're shown heaven and some of the creatures in heaven, and some of God's number one people. So what's interesting is I didn't even recognize in Alleluia, The Devil's Carnival, I did not recognize the guy who was playing God's number one up until his name was said. I'd actually seen, let's see, what is his name? Adam Pascal, who played in a musical version of Elton John and Tim Rice's Aida live, and I'd seen him live on stage for that adaptation. And he also was very good in Rent. So hearing his voice here in Alleluia, The Devil's Carnival, that was amazing. And not to mention Tech Nine, who is part of the Insane Clown Posse group of individuals. That kind of group. Music that rap that I grew up with. And he's playing a clean person in heaven, one of the people in heaven that is like the librarian of this. So seeing all of these different people, I mean, we got Barry Bostwick, who played in the original Rocky Horror Picture Show. He plays an interesting character. David Hasselhoff, who has played in a version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, a musical. So I thought that was both of these were entertaining, and both of them are Blu-ray DVD combo packs. Both of them are limited, I believe. Limited edition. And where is... So this... Okay, so this isn't a limited edition copy of it, but it is a Blu-ray DVD combo pack. But this one, on the other hand, is a limited edition, and it's number 6,353 out of 6,660. So I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of cool. In any case, let me put these to the ground. Or at least up here. Next, let's see. Looks like I'll have... So I want to show you these in consecutive order because I bought these separately. Okay, so next I have this Origin series of Ultraman. Ultraman Orb, the Origin Saga, and this includes Ultra Fight Orb, the movie. And it calls it Let Me Borrow the Power of Father and Son on it. So I have that particular set dealing with the Ultraman. And then a couple days later, I went and saw this Blu-ray only, unfortunately. I saw this Blu-ray of Ultraman Greed, Geed, Geo or Geed, and it's the movie, and it says "Connect the Wishes" on it. So I'm curious to check these out once I pick up the Return of Ultraman. Because I want to watch all of the series in consecutive order, and then go on about them later. Next, I picked up the third season of Hell on Wheels. Now, this is the season that I had actually gotten my fiance in on, and it's about a man by the name of Colin Bohannon, who's played by Anson Mount. And he made a home in a town called Hell on Wheels. And I just absolutely love this series. It's the perfect epitome of what I consider the West is all about. He's kind of like your last dying breed of what what a cowboy really is. So, he is a character. Alright, so, let me bring these over here. So next I went and found a copy of this anthology called Double X, which is supposedly written and directed by Karen Kusama, but it's an anthology that's all directed by four different female filmmakers. You got Roxanne Benjamin, Annie Clark, Karen Kusama, and Javanka Vukovic. And I've heard some good things about this. I'm not going to say, but I'm looking forward to checking that out down the road. Next, I picked this collection up, and it's got 20 feature films from the King of the Cowboys. This is the Roy Rogers Happy Trails collection, and I picked this up from Menards, believe it or not. And on here, I've got Sons of the Pioneers, Trigger Jr., Pals of the Golden West, Young Bill Hickok, Don't Fence Me In, Down Dakota Way, The Golden Stallion, Man from Oklahoma, Rainbow Over Texas, Trail of Robin Hood, Sunset in El Dorado, North of the Great Divide, Bells of Coronado, South of Caliente, in Old Amarillo, along the Navajo Trail, Twilight in the Sierras, Susanna Pass, Spoilers of the Plains, and Cowboy and Senorita. Some of them are black and white, and some of them are color. Definitely looking forward to checking that collection out. Looks pretty cool. And from what I understand, he's a singing cowboy. Okay. Next, I have the two in the Bourne universe that I had not, as of yet, watched. But thanks to $1.25 from a clearance at Big Lots, I picked up the Blu-ray DVD combo of the Bourne Legacy. And then eventually I went on over to Walmart, since they are having almost next to nil in movies, because no one knows how to restock over there in the movie section. I picked up the Jason Bourne feature with Matt Damon. That I have not yet watched, but this one I have. So look out for a review down the road of that particular film. It wasn't as bad as people were saying. I mean, come on, public people. Anyways, next I have Saint Agatha, which is directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. Same director as Repo, The Genetic Opera, The Devil's Carnival, and Hallelujah, The Devil's Carnival. This was his latest. And man, was it trippy. Pretty much a teenage girl who had gotten pregnant, went to live with some nuns she thought was innocent. And she ended up going in under some heavily restrictive nuns that were kind of underground, backdoor selling babies. Trippy film and abusive nuns. My God. I watched it. It was pretty damn good. So far, I have not been disappointed with Mr. Bousman. In any case, that's Saint Agatha. Next, I went and picked up the 5th Sharknado movie. I did not have the 5th nor the 6th Sharknado movie, and those were two that I had relatively picked up recently. So now I have the complete Sharknado set. I don't have that steel book because that went out real fast. But here's another 4-movie collection that I had actually picked up from Menards. And it's got Burt Reynolds movies. Switching Channels, The Man Who Loved Women, Physical Evidence, and Seamus. That's an interesting set, to say the least. I have not really watched many Burt Reynolds films, so I am looking forward to checking that out. Next, I actually did watch this. This was actually a really good horror film. And it stars Nicolas Cage in a film called Pay the Ghost. It's directed by Uli Edel. And it was creepy. Next, I did pick up the film that won the Oscars. And obviously, it was a film that was from Korea. And it was called Parasite. And that was directed by Bong Joon-ho. So I did pick that one up. Weird fucking film. Next, I have this playwright collection of Neil Simon comedies. And on here, I've got The Slugger's Wife from 1985, Lost in Yonkers, The Cheap Detective, Chapter 2, Only When I Laugh, Jake's Women, London Suite, and The Sunshine Boys. So that should be an interesting comedy collection of Neil Simon comedies. Next, I have 2 films that I had picked up brand new from Walmart not too long ago. And here I have the director of Heredity, Ari Aster's Midsommar. Weird fucking movie. Weird. Has some Wicker Man tones. Next I have Knives Out. Ryan Johnson's newest whodunit film. Weird movie, but kind of cool. I mean, it kind of had kind of an old dark house kind of a flair. You know, you wondered exactly who murdered whom and whatnot. I love these kind of films. The only thing is, I wish it had kind of a hunting thing going on with it. But anyways, next I picked this film up for $5. I guess it's directed by the Kondelik brothers, starring Eric Erickson, Madison West, Jonathan Nation, Tamara Stayer, Doug Birch, Frankie Ray, called Jurassic Galaxy. Looks pretty sweet. It says on the top here, Planet of the Apes meets Jurassic World. And that is from Geek Legion of Doom. That's what they say. They were supposed to be extinct. So that looks entertaining. Next, I ended up picking up for $10. I ended up picking up the Criterion version of this Terry Gilliam film, Jabberwocky. I thought it was quite clear from the copy that I'm used to. Thought it was thought it was kind of cool picking it up for $10. Next, I have a film called Hellions. Now, I watched this. It was done rather cheaply. Not sure whether I was a fan or not. I have to rewatch it. I'll have to pay attention to it. Or try to. I mean, it's got some interesting characters. I mean, it's got Robert Patrick and Chloe Rose in it. And it's directed by Bruce McDonald. But picked that up for $4. Should be interesting to figure out. But anyways, next I have Detective D and the Mystery of the Phantom Flame. It's a Japanese film. Believe it is directed by Sue Hark. So looking forward to checking that out. Looks pretty sweet. Next I have a film called Delicatessen. Film by Joynette and Carol. Jean-Pierre Joynette and Mark Carroll. From the director of Amélie, Jean-Pierre Joynette comes a post-apocalyptic comedy that's both bitingly hilarious and absolutely one of a kind. When meat becomes so rare that it is used as currency, residents living above a deli must depend on a menacingly strange butcher for their supply. But when a new tenant arrives and takes a job as the building's handyman, he unknowingly steps into the butcher's trap to serve him as the next meal. Delicatessen. A French film. Next I have this film. What's funny is I picked it up around the time that we were going to be doing Mad Max the following week. It's called Dead Man's Apocalypse, and it was distributed by Breaking Glass Pictures. Incredible. It's Mad Max Underground. And it's got a short film called Erotic Green on here. And it's directed by Charlie Steeds. So, yeah. There we have Dead Man's Apocalypse. Next I have Joaquin Rodriguez directing a film called Curse of the Mayans. It was kind of a Creatures from the Black Lagoon kind of thing with a Mayan twist. Kind of creepy towards the end. I thought it was actually pretty cool. Alright. So next I picked up a Blu-ray DVD. This was $8 from Mega Media. I didn't have Zebraman 2, Attack on Zebra City, yet. And this is a film that was directed by Takashi Miike. And I'm looking forward to checking this film out. It's another action film. Next, I have Rennie Yang with something called The Haunted. And it, in fact, includes 2 movies. It says it's based on a true story. So first I have the tag. The tag along 1 and the tag along 2. And evidently they are both Chang Wei Hao films. So says Rainy Yang on the front. So I'm looking forward to what these are. Definitely weird looking. Next, I found these two films put together. This is Explorers with River Phoenix and Ethan Hawke, and Small Soldiers. So, yeah. Joe Dante was Small Soldiers, and Rob Bottin was Explorers. And I have not seen Explorers. Maybe I have. But I'm looking forward to checking those out. Next, I have, according to this says it's the action sensation of the year. It's called The Witch Subversion. I'm trying to figure out who directed this. It stars Kim Da-mi, Cho Min-soo, Park Hee-sun, and Choi Woo-shik. It's directed by Park Hoon-jung, I guess. I'm looking forward to checking this out. For sure. I got the DVD of that. Next, I have this. I picked this up for $5 over at Walmart. And I love Indian stuff. And the Pathfinder and the Song of Hiawatha are double featured on here. And the Pathfinder is from the author of The Last of the Mohicans. And that stars Kevin Dillon, Graham Greene, Laurie Holden, a special appearance by Russell Means and Stacy Keach. And in Song of Hiawatha, we have Graham Greene, Littlefoot, Irene Bedard, Russell Means, David Strathern, and Michael Rooker showing up in that one. So, interesting couple of films. I'm looking forward to checking those out. All right. So, next I picked up this anime series, working my way through it. I'm on the second disc of it. It's called Ghost Stories. And it was produced by ADV Films. And the director of it is called Noriyuki Abe. But the English dub is actually pretty fun so far. It's entertaining. It's about a group of students who live next to a haunted school, and they end up accidentally setting or extracting a demon from the house, putting it into a cat, and then by way of one of the girls' mothers, a book that she found, exorcising the rest of the ghosts that are evidently, because the mountain nearby is under construction, the mountain where her mother extracted and put all of these demons. it's under construction for new parts of the city. And the city doesn't realize that they are unearthing and unleashing these ghosts and demons. And I guess it's their task to put them back in their place. So, very intriguing series. Glad that I picked this up for 30. It's not too bad of a price. Next, I have this very awesome anthology that came from Hex Media, and I was able to get my friend Dane Kyle interested in putting one of his short films into it. And this is one of the first times he'll be able to make money off of it. And this is some amazing art and detail that go into this set. It's fucking awesome. Somewhere on here, somewhere on this particular set is a figure of the monster that's within his short film. So that is I'm pretty stoked. I watched it, but I do have to review it later down the road. I am so glad that I ended up telling my friend about it. Next, I put some money into a project of putting a silent film onto a silent film called Robes of Sin. And it stars Sylvia Bremer, Jack Moore, Gertrude Astor, and Bruce Gordon. And here's what the film is about. Bored housewife meets a bootlegger and his moll, but they don't know she's married to a cop. The film is from 1924, and it's 16 minutes long. There's a bonus film on here, and it's called Almost a Scandal, and that film is from 1915. And that's the film stars Billy Ritchie, Henry Bergman, Hank Mann, and all of this was produced and would not have been able to have been put through and scanned and put to the best of its ability if it had not been produced by Edward LaRusso. Who was a private collector of silent films. And the feature here, the music is performed by David Drazen, but the short film has music that was composed and performed by Edward LaRusso himself. So I'm assuming that Edward LaRusso is not just a silent film collector, he is also a composer in his own right. So I'm glad that I was able to get a copy of it so that I can check it out down the road. I love silent films. It was the beginning of films and how to get them around. Next, I upgraded my copy of Hook on a Blu-ray DVD combo thing for $5, which starred Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, and Bob Haskins in this Steven Spielberg production. Absolutely love this film. Glad that I upgraded. Next, I ended up going to Goodwill out in Brookfield, and I found the first 5 seasons of How I Met My Mother in pretty damn good condition, which you know, it's got Josh Radnor, Jason Segel, Allison Hannigan, and Neil Patrick Harris. So, looking forward to checking out these seasons of comedy. I know that it was on besides Big Bang Theory, but there are so many shows that were out there at the time, and it was hard for me to keep up. So I'm glad I have the first 5 seasons to check out. Okay, so alrighty. So apparently, have you ever heard of the Angry Video Game Nerd? Well, apparently he came out with a Blu-ray set called the AVGN X, and let's see, Ready for Revenge Blu-ray sets. But before that, he would put many of his videos from online out in these volume sets, and apparently these are every single season from 1 through 10 of his particular show online. And AVGNX, there's 3, there's 2, there's Revenge, and Revenge came with its own bonus disc because evidently there was something wrong with the disc, and that I ended up sticking in with this thing for right now. This is the replacement disc, and I was watching it the one time. I suppose I'll have to get its own disc somewhere. But I'm so glad that I was able to get these from a friend of mine, and these were put out by Screenwave Media at Cinemassacre.com. So I am glad that I have these. I also have the Angry Video Game Nerd, the movie, which I shall show you later. And last but not least, I'm going to show you 2 more things. Today, when I went out and about to Walmart, even though in this coronavirus day and age, I went out and picked up the last copy of Pet Sematary on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital, so that I can rewatch this remake. I haven't seen it in a while. Watched it once. Was kind of disappointed. I'm hoping that when I rewatch it again, maybe it'll agree with me this time. I don't know. But in any case, next I want to show you something that I've completed in this whole day and age. I also did not have the Make Your Own Damn Movie documentary set that Lloyd Kaufman put out by Troma. I had Direct Your Own Damn Movie, and I had Produce Your Own Damn Movie, but I had not gone back and picked up this particular set. And so I ended up buying this on eBay for 10 had it shipped. And now my set is complete, but it does not have the books. Okay. Next, my fiance did not want these movies anymore, so I decided I would take them. What are they? We have the original Air Bud, Air Buddies, Snow Buddies, Space Buddies, Santa Buddies, Spooky Buddies, and Treasure Buddies. And from what I understand, I'm only missing one. So, there we have it. This is my video of all of my newbies so far. And I'll definitely have some more to show you. But these are all of them so far. I may have some show up tomorrow. I don't know yet. But if they are, there will be a PS video. So thank you for listening. I'll definitely have some more to show you later down the road. And I'm glad that I was able to show you what I got so far. So thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. I appreciate your time spent here on the page, and I just love showing you what I have. So thank you so much. Enjoy.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?